Hi everyone, this is Marissa with Enchanted Ramblings, and this is my February bullet journal setup. If you've seen how I set up my monthly spreads, I always start with an inbox page on the front, which is usually a clear adhesive pocket or maybe a decorative adhesive pocket, depending on my mood. And then a mood board that I create in PicMonkey or Canva, and then I just paste it in. So I will take some time to do that and then put them in after the fact. I also keep 2 pages open at the very beginning for my goddess research. So every year I do a Wheel of the Year forecast reading with Kimberly Moore at Mother House of the Goddess. And she gives me 13 goddesses for the year. So 12, one for each month and one for my overall. And I usually take the month of, whichever month it is, and I plan a 2-page layout spread for that goddess with research and pictures and things like that. This month it is Guinevere, so I'll be doing some research on some old Arthurian legends, which I'm always down for. Give me a little sword in the stone action. I do a monthly divination as well, and then I set up my habit tracker. And my habit tracker is called my Nourish Tracker. I use it to keep track of all of the things that are building my self-care, not just necessarily like, the physical self-care, but the emotional and mental health as well. So I'll put in things like, am I reading enough? Am I stitching? Am I taking time to spend time with the family? Those kinds of things. And then my writing and my stitching trackers go onto the next pages. And then we build into my monthly pages themselves. So we're actually going to start with my first monthly calendar spread. And you can see I've already started drawing out. I've got markers for where my grid lines need to go. I have my handy ruler. And I'm going to be using the Arteza Pens today. I have mislaid my Artist Loft set. So we're going to give these a shot and try them out in the book. This is the 0.2 and this is the 0.35 millimeter. I'm going to do my lines in the 0.35 and see how they come out. I may have to go over them with a 0.5 pen. It just depends. Sometimes I like the thicker lines and sometimes I like the thinner lines, but I'm thinking with this particular layout, we may want to go with the thinner lines just so I have a little bit more room to kind of play with things. So I'm going to use my ruler because this is the one of the very few pages that I get neurotic about straight lines. And I will speed through this part because watching me draw lines is kind of boring. What I want to do before I get too far ahead of myself is put my tab on. Usually I use tab tape or washi tape or something, but I have these fabulous bright bows that kind of go with the color theme. And I think I want to use the blue one on this guy. So what I'm going to do is just tap this down on one side like that. And then when I turn the page, I'm using the other side of, or the second bow as the other side of the tab. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with the blue on this side as well. And I'm just kind of lining them up as closely as I possibly can. I'm trying to make it line up perfectly is usually a lost cause in my realm, but we're going to give it a shot today. Yeah, it's almost perfect. Close enough. If you don't like the fact that there is stickiness on the edges of it, what I like to do sometimes is just take a tissue and just tap it on. And then when I peel the tissue off, everything that's left behind is just paper, basically. Okay, so now that we have this, put my little February sticker up over this corner, which is why I wanted to put my bow down first. So I have them all kind of queued up here on my ruler just so that I could kind of see what I got all at once. And definitely going to put the little tiger down in the corner over here. I think our little moon chickie is going to go over here. Let's see. So I think I'm going to put, because this is first 8, 15, 2. I think I'm going to put him right here. Because there shouldn't be a day in that particular box. Okay, so I'm going to set them aside for a moment and put some date dots on. And these are just the standard date dots from Sticker Guru. These ones happen to be in the red foil. And I'm going to use my handy dandy, there we go. I'm going to use my handy dandy tweezers just to pick them up and put them down because it makes it easier for me to see. Now, because this week starts on a weird Sometimes I would put the extra dates for the month before on here because I am starting on a Sunday in my dailies. It makes sense to have those there, and I'm just going to add them in. And I think I'm gonna look and see. Sometimes I miss them because they're so small, but my sister's birthday is this month. And I wanted to put, see, those are kind of, I have these large polar bears, but they're a little too big for what I want to do with them. Let's see. That one's a little bit smaller, but still kind of big. I could use this guy over here. Yep, that's the one. So you can see he's so cute. My sister's birthday is February 7th, and so I figured if I put that on her birthday, polar bears are her favorite animal, so it would make sense. Okay, so then let's go back over here, and I've got my little penguin and my little husky. I want to put the little penguin kind of like over here somewhere. Let's stick him right here. And then husky, I believe I want to put this one right there. Perfect. So usually I will leave space over here on the side for my notes and things that I might need to like make a note of over the course of the whole month. But I think what I want to do with it this month is add a little bit of black to it. So maybe if we go with the rabbit. Or trim it up the center. That. So this part would be trimmed off. And then we'd get more of the rabbit in this side strip. So I think that's what we're going to do. Now this is a little bit of a sticky note on the back, so there is some tack there, but I want it to stay down. So what I'm going to do is position it, and then I'm going to put the, just make sure I trimmed off enough. I might need to take a little bit more off one end. I think just need a little bit more off of one end right here. Just so this fits a little bit better on the page. Yes, that's perfect. Okay. And I think probably about there. So I'm using my Tombow tape. Just going to add a couple extra strips of adhesive to the back. It is, like I said, it is a sticky note, but I want this to last all month. So line this up. This little guy is going to be covered. So I think may pull him up just a little bit. I'm going to use my craft knife for that. Slip the paper underneath it, press that down all the way, and then we'll put it back over the edge. Perfect. Now I have lovely gel pens from Archer and Olive, and I think I want this middle greenish blue teal color thing. Yeah, maybe the light blue. Let's go with the light blue and see how that looks. Strip of the extra that I cut off here because I haven't actually started these pens yet. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna write remember when we used to write everything in block letters? Go get myself a little bit of a to-do list slash notes list there. I was toying with the idea of throwing this across the top here, but I think honestly, I kind of like the way it is right now. And as the month fills in, it will become a little more busy anyway. So I want to leave a little bit of white space just so I can kind of think straight. Oh, nice, these gel pens dry really fast. So that is my monthly calendar. The next one is the same basic setup. It's my monthly editorial schedule. So I will draw these grids in off camera because that's boring to watch, and we'll just keep going forward. So this is my monthly projects list. And for this one, I'm going to use one of my tab things. I've got hot blue and hot pink. These are from the Planner Society. They are glittery tabs. And I think I'm going to use one of these pink ones for this tab page because I do like to have tabs on the pages that I reference a lot. And the next one would begin the first set of weeks. So for this one, I'm going to put the tab on this side because that way it marks both my editorial schedule and my projects list. See, they're like kind of transparent, glittery fabulousness. And I'm going to use one of the big ones on this tab. So if this is my monthly tab, I'm just going to move my projects tab down a smidge, but I still want to have them more or less aligned here because I do want this to also reference my editorial calendar. So I'm going to put it down. If this is all the way at the top of my grid lines, I'm just going to move it down like a single box. And right about there. And these work the same way as the other ones. Just kind of fold it over. And hopefully you get them more or less straight. I do find her tab bows a little bit hard to use because honestly, I feel like this part, the cutout, should be on the inside and not on the outside because it does make this part just a little bit more flimsy, but it'll work for what we're using it for a month. Okay, so for my projects page, definitely want to use some bright colors, and I'm thinking I want to go with a combination of this black and white spots. And maybe this is where I use those bats. Or maybe I go with the Baymax. So these little painted puppies are one of the first images that I had ever seen from Lisa Frank. And they are so cute, but I love the fact that they kind of look like rainbow Dalmatians, and this definitely has Dalmatian vibes. So is there. I think I'm going to use these on this page as well. The color scheme is a little mellow if I use these ones, but I might go with just the bright pink ones. And everything I'm using, if I can find where I originally bought it from, then I will put that in the description box below. I typically I forward them a little bit, so they may not all be available anymore, but I will look to see what I can find and put that down for you guys. So to write on these stickers, they are a little bit glossy. And I'm going to grab my happy bin of Sharpies again. And I think I don't have one that's like the same color pink, but I do have this kind of bright purple. So we're going to put projects for February. And let's be real, that's what we all use to label our floppy drives anyway, a Sharpie. So I will go through and I will write out my projects. Those lists tend to get kind of large, so I will do a flip through once I have everything set up so you can kind of see how the page is in use. Then for my habit tracker here, I'm definitely going to put this one on this page. I feel like this is a good one for my Nourish score. So I'm going to run this from the bottom over here all the way to here. And this is a weird tape. It's a little crinkly. I mean, you can probably hear when it's coming off the roll. It's a little weird. Kind of an interesting texture too. It's more plasticky than usual washi tape. So be curious to see how that works out for the long run. So I am definitely not the world's best hand letterer, but I do have a little bit of geometry on my side here. And I'm going to attempt to make 3D looking letters, which is why I'm doing it in pencil first, just so I can kind of play with the sizing and the spacing if I need to. That's not terrible. Okay, so now I'm going to clean it up a little bit with my pen. Not the worst work I've ever done. Let's see, and then I have this bright color, which might be too bright. Maybe this orangey color. Let's go with the paler orange and this yellow together. And I think that they'll contrast really nicely. And I idea of using some of these stickers on this page. So I have a bunch of Care Bears, but I think I'm going to hold off on those. Let's look at the Rugrats. Okay, I like the little smiling dancing Reptar. We might have to use him. Reptar, Angelica. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with Angelica and then maybe Reptar or maybe Chucky. It depends on how I end up with my trackers. So let me draw those out next and then we'll kind of go from there. For these ones, I want to use these bright pens. So these are the ultra fine tip markers from Erin Condren, and I'm looking forward to these colors, like this purple and this pink. I think those are the two, and maybe just the orange for splash. Yep, I think that's it. Okay. So I want to keep the orange away from the orange just because it doesn't match perfectly. So I'm going to start with this purple color because I think that will contrast nicely with the blue. Purple and orange will contrast nicely against one another. And let's see. So there are 28 days in February. So instead of doing my usual 15 grid, what I'm going to do is rows of 7, maybe 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we're going to do the standard rows. I'm going to start with this purple color. And I think I'm going to do my standard rows of 10. Okay, now that I have my trackers written out, I'm just going to put my little stickers here, and Reptar definitely needs to get trimmed down a little bit unless I move him, but I really like him up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut him off a little bit and then put him down, and if I have to trim more, then I can. But I think if I tip him like this, then I really only need to cut a little bit off of his tail here. Layered over the washi tape at the bottom. Perfect. Okay, so typically I will color in the top bars of these, but I don't want it to get too chaotic with my colors. So I'm just going to write in the boxes the habits that I'm tracking. And I just realized I need one more box because I give myself a spot to kind of give myself some bonus points for things. So we're going to use this blue one to be our bonus box. There we go. So these are the ones that I'm tracking this month. Reading, organizing and tidying up, and then feeling accomplished. These things are definitely like my mental health. Writing, my daily Dorga practice for the year of 2022, and then creative spark is like, did I do something fun and creative today? So these are my emotional, spiritual health. Body as a gift is what I'm calling my, like, am I working out? Am I giving myself the appropriate amount of downtime? If my body is sore, am I taking care of it? Those kinds of things. Sleep quality, and then eating healthy. These are my physical health. And then bonus points for things like if I have a therapy day, or if I spend a lot of time working or journaling more than I was going to, like those kinds of things give me my bonus points for my Nourish score. So like I said, I will do my monthly divination here. It'll go opposite this page. And the idea is that the divination kind of gives me some insights as to kind of what my month is going to hold. And so I'll decorate that page when I have the cards pulled, depending on the actual coloration of things. So next up, we have my writing and my stitching trackers. For my writing tracker, I'm going to be using this pink washi tape with the little typewriters on it. And I have another one of these stickers, and I think I'm probably going to use one of these periwinkle ones just because they contrast really nicely. Maybe this one with the little crystal. So we'll set that out. I can find, I'll just put it on top of that for a moment. My washi tape, and then thinking about using one of these vellums in between here. I think I might want to use this blue moon phase just to kind of give us a little pop of color and to break up my places a little bit here. So because I don't write every single day in what I would consider sit down and like author something, I give myself a little bit of space at the top of the page to make notes, to write down my word counts, that kind of thing. And then I give myself space at the bottom of the page to keep track of all of my writing sprints. I do love the writing sprint concept. It helps me to really focus in. And so sometimes I will just spend a couple hours doing nothing but 20-minute writing sprints with 5-minute breaks in between to give myself a little bit of a brain break without being like super crazy. Now I have a bunch of stickers here from Procrastiplanner. These are the ones that came out of the second anniversary box, and I'm thinking I like these spring ones for this page. May use some of these on my calendar pages. Yeah. Then on this side is where I keep track of the projects that I work on as I'm stitching. So I'm just gonna erase my little header piece there. And I think for this one, I want to go bright. Like, I really love this color enthusiast sticker, and that might be kind of where I'm going with some of that. I have some of these are a little bit brighter than others. So maybe I go with this hot pink color and the metallic purple to kind of complement the metallics in this. And these are dot tip pens. They have a fine point on one side and then this kind of cool rounded nib on the other. They look like teeny tiny little bingo markers, and I like to use them for to-do lists and dots and all kinds of things. So let's start by peeling the backing off of this sticker. So I want it kind of centered on the page, and I folded over the back on the back side just so I could use that to kind of line it up before I stick it all the way down. It also helps me to get it a little straighter because I can kind of see where the sticker is going to land before it becomes completely adhered to the page. And then I'm going to use the same hot pink color from my Erin Condren one, and let's see. I definitely wanted to say something about stitching at the top, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in the 90s girl font. And if I stitch that many sessions in a month, that's a pretty good month for me. So here are my writing tracker and my stitchy tracker. So the monthly themes and intentions, I will go through and set those all up based on kind of my personal divination, and then my theme for the month will be also replicated in my mood board. And then we have my monthly calendar and my projects list. And then it really becomes back at the back here where I set up my end of the month pages. So for this one, I have this cute little sampler from Mother, Me, and I. And I think I want to use this. Maybe also this. This is cute. So for my monthly review, I like to use the getting things done method to go through and review everything. But I also like to use some prompt questions. Some of them are from the Goddess Planner. Some of them are from the HB 90 system, where we talk about like reviewing our goals and things like that. So I'm going to, let's see, what color do I think would be good here? I think I'm going to write them in red. Maybe I do the whole rainbow. That could be cool. Let's see how many questions I can fill in. Okay. So the first section, or the first part of the review from David Allen's GTD method, is get clear. And that just means any loose papers, emptying your inbox, getting everything out of your brain, dumping all the way to zero, kind of thing. Then we have get current, where it's a matter of looking through all of the next action lists and making sure that your tasks are getting moved over correctly, any kind of review on waiting for lists, those kinds of things. And then we have get creative. That's reviewing the someday maybe list, making sure that anything that I want to create gets added to a list accordingly and kind of builds from there. Then I also have my monthly reflection, which is like prompt questions based around, are there things that I accomplished this month? What did I enjoy about it? What are things that I want to carry forward into next month? And then I have migration. And my migration notes usually span across to the second page because I will typically take more than the page allows in terms of space, just so I have some more room to write things out. And I give myself some extra note pages right after as well to help kind of give myself extra room to write things out and have a lot more space for reflection in this particular monthly journal, as opposed to putting them in my regular journal where they might get lost. So I think I'm also going to take, I really love this black and white, like not leopard print, spots, not quite polka dots, there's like splotches. So I think I'm going to take a little strip of this. This nice thin line of yellow, just to kind of give us a little bit of a layered effect and some pop of color. So all of this space will fill in with my review notes and my reflection questions and things like that as I fill through all my days. I also keep a spread for my monthly favorites, and this fills out as the month goes on. But what I will do for the time being is put, let's see. I think I want to put strawberry in this corner. So then I'll fill in things like my favorite music playlist, my favorite thing I read, maybe a favorite food or a favorite new washi tape, anything like that that comes up in February that goes onto this page. The next two pages are order tracking and my pay in 4 tracker. So I have a printable that I stick into here and I tack them down. And then the last 2 pages before all of my notes pages and memory keeping are my reading pages. And for this one, I have this lovely brightly colored washi tape. I think I bought this on AliExpress. It's from Navy Peony. It might also have been an Amazon purchase. It's hard to keep my washi tape straight sometimes. And then for the opposite side, I also have this one from Simply Gilded, which is the same kind of color scheme. And I think this one came from their Hummingbird Story subscription box one month. It was so pretty, I bought a couple of them. So for my TBR lists, I usually make a list at the beginning of the year of all the books that I want to read in the coming year. And they might be books that have things to do with specific classes. They might be seasonal. They might be things that are coming out that I just want to read, or that I've already pre-ordered, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I have a list of all the things that I want to read in 2022, and then I break them down by month. And usually it ends up being about 10 books a month that I have on my to be read list. Now, the other page is the books that I actually read, which may or may not be the same things on my TBR list, just depends on my mood, my availability, and just kind of how things come up and arise during the month. But I like to see how the two compare over time. So it's always fascinating to me to kind of run the stats, as it were, for things that actually, you know what, I think this one that goes vertically, and I might use that instead. Looking at it. Anyway, I have two lists then every month of 4 books. Books that I've read and books that I wanted to read, and then I kind of see how much they match up. And sometimes they match up better than others, and sometimes they are so completely, vastly, wildly different that it really makes you wonder what I was thinking in the first place. So this long Bookstack washi tape, this one is from Coco Daisy, I believe, and I love it. I don't have very many vertical, like patterned washi tapes, so maybe that's something I need to watch for as I'm shopping this year. Some more vertical washis. Just something to give a little bit of a flavor change, I guess. And some washi tapes you can do vertically or horizontally, depending on the pattern or the color or whatever, but some of them really don't. And then this side, I have a Dexter. Loved Dexter's Lab. There we go. Yeah, see, Dexter belongs on that page. Okay, so for my reading pages, I think I'm going to stick with this kind of blue-green coloration. Let me grab the dark blue one out of here. Okay, so there's my spreads for my TBR list and the books that I actually read in February, and Dexter's going to keep me company while I read. After that, then I get into my memory keeping stuff, and that is a whole separate video, I think, because it will take a while for me to set all these pages up for the way that I want them to be for my monthly memory keeping. I do a cover and then 2 days to a page so that I am actually memory keeping a little bit every day without it being overwhelming. But the one piece that we'll finish up here today is the notes pages at the back of the book. And for this one, I want to grab my bow tabs again. I want to use one of the blue ones now. And I use note pages like all the time. I love them. I use them for work because this is my everyday carry. It becomes everything. So I'm going to just wipe that off of the top there so that I can put my bow tab down. And I'm going to use one of these blue sparkly bows from my Planner Society setup here. I think I want to put Lizzie McGuire on this page because better to keep track of my notes. The nice thing about Archer and Olive is it does come through a little bit, but it's not the end of the world and it's not super noticeable. That is my February setup at the moment. I will add to it as time goes on. I'll fill in some of the missing pieces. And at the end of the month, I will have a gorgeous worked up notebook full of lovely 90s girl things. Thank you so much. I know this is kind of a long video as we kind of work through building out the book. And I love my little bows and tabs sticking off the sides there. If you have any questions or if you want to see more videos on specific things, please leave them in the comment box below. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know how to YouTube. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to be here with you, and I will see you all next time. Bye.